then I have some questions after we get off of this link. So, cause she
Okay.
needs,
Okay, yeah, okay. Here's
Because-
Aisha. Hello, Aisha. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna get going. We're gonna do we're gonna do the whole body as we usually do. We never miss a body part, but I'm gonna do a little focus moves on our glutes today because we all have glutes, but we got to make sure they're firing. Okay, so Tina, you want me to wait for you? Oh, there I am.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, hey everybody, this is Chris Kissel. We're gonna do our stretching with strength this morning, and we're gonna start out in a seated position. So let me change my view so I can see you guys, because I love having people do this with me. So, all right, let's all wake up our body this morning. Let's start in a seated position. Be mindful of which leg's in front. Because that's your go-to leg. This is your go-to position. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start right off the bat and switch up our default modes. We're getting out of default mode right now. So go ahead and switch these legs. All right. Probably feels a little different because it's so funny. Our mind just says, okay, we're going to cross our legs. This one goes in front. This one goes here. Let's do it this way. So let's just do some circles from our hips. So I want you to be mindful of this movement coming from this joint right where the top of your leg hits your torso. So just move around in a circle. Go where you can go. Start with little circles. It doesn't have to be big, but move your body from that hip joint. We're loosening up that hip joint. Go back a little bit. And forward, side to side. And let's reverse it. So we won't spend a whole lot of time here. We are going to switch back to our default side, and we're going to see what that feels like. So we're just going around in circles. All right, go back to the middle. Go back to default. So Tina, when you cross your legs, I want you to go automatically and recross them the other way because you just went into your default mode, and we're going to go undefault mode. What would you call that? First, and then go the other way. So we're mixing up our body. It's always good to switch things up. It's good to keep your body guessing. If you constantly do things the same way, well, for one, you're going to get the same results. And if they're good, I guess it's okay. But if you always want to be 1% better every day, then you're going to have to mix things up and keep the body guessing.
I wanted to share with you, Chris, because of you, I purposely do my default leg all the time.
You do the default leg or you get out of default?
I always start at first because of you saying, instead of doing my automatic one, I always do the default.
Oh, I get you. Okay, I get you. Okay, let's just drop our legs over to one side. We're gonna do some windshield wipers. And then we're going to get, so we've been in this hip flexion mode. We've been where our hips are flexed. Okay, so we're going to get out of that mode right now. So I want you to bend one leg behind, and I'm going to go the opposite way I would usually go. We're going to make this a mix-up class today. So go ahead and put one leg behind, one leg's in front. We've got our knees kind of lined up, and we're going up into a triangle. So we're in our triangle. We're stretching this hip flexor. Now we're going to focus on glutes in just a minute, but I want you to get that glute kicked in right now. I want you to squeeze that glute. The harder you squeeze that glute, the more you're going to feel this open up. All right, so reach up with your arms. We got to get these shoulders in the picture. Reach up, reach up, reach up, and let's do an arm circle. Let's do a circle. We're lubing up all these joints, guys. You're bringing the fluid to the joints. Go ahead and reverse that circle. And you got a nice strong arm here as your kickstand. You're squeezing that glute, you're pushing that hip forward, and let's take it down. Switch it over to the other side. And the goal is to have both sides feel equal. That's where we're symmetrical. And it doesn't matter what range you can get in as long as you're symmetrical. So go ahead and push up to your knees, reach up to the ceiling, reach as high as you can. Get that nice reach. Remember, we're squeezing on the backside of this glute to open up this hip. And I want you to circle that arm. Nice big circles. Stay in a pain-free zone, guys. If your arm doesn't circle like this, go where it can, or just continue to reach up to the ceiling, wherever you can go in a comfortable place. All right, take it down. So I'd like you to grab a yoga block and a little pillow for your head or something for your head. You might need it. You can do it without. We're going to go on our backs. We will start this with my signature core engagement move. We're going to engage those lower abdominals because we need those in everything we do. So you are going to start sitting up, and I want you to put your hands out in front of you. We don't want to miss any opportunity to be contracting and strengthening our muscles. So just roll down slowly. Pull those abdominals into your spine. Go slow, 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 slow. And now you're on your back. All right. I'm going to adjust my camera just a tad so you can see me a little better. There we go. So take your yoga block and put it between your knees. We're not going to have a death grip on this, but we're going to keep our hips lined up by just gentle squeeze on the yoga block. I use a little ball, weighted ball like this for my head. You can use a pillow. The goal for this is to get your neck rounded a little bit. So you're looking right at the top of your knees. And the reason we want to keep our neck rounded is because our low back is going to go into that rounded position too. We want to keep them in harmony. It's all about harmony today, guys. So I want you to put both hands on the floor. You just open your hands up really big. Open them up really big so your palms are like suction cups, suctioning into the floor. Then gently place your fingers down. So you've got a gentle press into the floor, a gentle squeeze with your knees, and a tilt with your chin to your chest. And what I want you to do now is pull your navel into your spine and feel your back flatten into the floor. You're curving that lumbar spine, that low spine, and hold that curve. Hold it. We're holding it for 6 seconds, guys. We've got a nice little press into the floor with our hands and a hold and release. So take a breath. So go ahead and take a breath in here. And as you exhale, we're going back into rounding our low back into the floor. So pushing the air out, pushing the navel into the spine, looking towards the top of your knees, keeping your chin towards your chest. You're rounding that low back, you're opening it up. You're strengthening the abdominal muscles that attach to the front of that spine and pulls it in this direction. All right, release it. Don't forget about your hands. Open those palms up wide, press them to the floor. Let your fingers relax into the floor. Squeeze your knees a little bit, chin to the chest, and now pull your navel into your spine. Push it to the floor. Go ahead and push that navel to the floor. You can do it. Come on. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. All right. Okay, guys, that is the absolute best exercise you can do for low back pain. I love doing this almost every class to ingrain it into your head. All right. So let's go back. Let's go to those glutes like I promised you. We're going to do, it'll be a little hip opener plus a glute strengthener. We're going to focus on the left glute right now. So I want you to take your right leg up in the air, cross that ankle over to your left knee, and we're opening it up, kind of like we're doing a figure four, getting a nice stretch like we do sometimes. But what we're going to do is emphasize this left glute. So I want you to be really mindful of this. I want you to go ahead and squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. I want you to press that left foot into the floor, a nice sturdy press. And then from here, I want you to lift your hips up in the air. So you're already squeezing before you even lift, and you keep squeezing, squeezing. You can open that right knee up, and that's externally rotating your hip open. It's opening that hip, it's squeezing those glutes even more together. Now keep that position of all those squeezes, but while you're squeezing, I want you to lower it back down to the floor. So this is control, guys. And release and come totally out of it. Let's do it again, but this time I want you to be really mindful of your hips being directed straight up to the ceiling, because what can happen is, and what will naturally happen is, you're going to kind of waver back and forth as you're lifting up. It's going to go swervy. We're going to get it really powerfully pushing straight up. So now that we know the position, I want you to be mindful of just being really strong and powerful in that lift to the ceiling. So go ahead and go back into your figure four. You're going to squeeze your glutes together really strong. And to keep that swerve from happening, you're really planting that foot into the floor. Push it into the floor like you're pushing it through the floor. So squeeze your glutes, push your foot through the floor, and lift your hips. Nice and steady, nice and straight. Just go where you can. The harder you squeeze, the higher they're going to get. Once you're up here, you can open that knee out even wider by squeezing the hips together. Or squeezing the glutes, I should say. So keep that squeeze. We're going to go straight down. No swerving, no swerving. And with control, take it to the floor. So it makes it a little more mindful, puts a little bit more power into that glute. And once you do these every now and then, or on a regular basis, we're going to switch legs. When you're doing an actual bridge where you're in a class and you're going up and down, the body automatically knows we're really kicking in these glutes. Okay, so we're switching legs. So you've got your right foot on the floor. You've got your left ankle on your knee. You're going to squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze them, and you can go ahead and squeeze as hard as you can, but push that foot into the floor. This side could be totally different. You're squeezing and you're lifting. Use your power to lift. Try to keep it like you've got guardrails on each side of your hips, or two walls on each side of your hips, and you're fitting them right up in those walls. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. At this point, you can open out that knee. This one might even feel a little different than the other side, but you keep squeezing. Squeezing, squeezing. I'm a little more wiggly on this side. Go ahead and keep squeezing and lower it down, lower it down, lower it down. And release. We're going to do this side again. So I want you to take that foot, push it into the floor. That's where you're going to keep your steadiness, all right? Push that foot into the floor. Squeeze both glutes. Lift your hips up off the floor. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Now, once you're up there, squeeze and open that leg. Open that right leg up or left leg up. Open it up. Get that rotation in the hip. And now keep that squeeze and lower it down, lower it down. And release. Okay, let's grab our yoga block. We're going to do some squeezes with both legs on the floor. It's going to seem like a piece of cake. And go ahead and this time you get to squeeze that block pretty good. Okay, I want you to squeeze it. We're going to work the inner thighs as we're lifting the hips up in the air. You're keeping your head in line with your spine. You're going to squeeze your glutes from the bottom. Always squeeze them first, then you lift. If you lift before you squeeze, you're using momentum. You're using other body parts to get that lift to happen. So you always want that squeeze to happen first. So go ahead and squeeze and lift and hold. Now here I want you to squeeze that yoga block together so you're getting those muscles on the inside of your thighs. Those are your adductor muscles to hold your hips in place. Go ahead and lower it down with that squeeze. Lower it down with that squeeze. And release. Let's do it again. Squeeze the glutes. Push the hips up to the ceiling. Push the hips up. Get a nice squeeze at the top with your knees and your glutes. And take it down steady and slow with control. Release it. We're going to do this a few more times. You're going to feel it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And lift, lift, lift. Hold it up there. Hold it up there. Lower it down. We're going to do this 2 more times, guys. I'm going to take a peek at what you're all doing. Say hello to everybody that's here. Hey, Kim. Keep squeezing and lower it down. This is intentional movement, guys. This is intentional movement. Let's do it 1 more time. So everybody start in the down position. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your knees and lift, 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 lift. Hold it up there, hold it up there, hold it up there. And bring it down. Okay, so we're gonna release these adductors, these muscles on the inside of the leg now. We're gonna release them with action. So take your yoga block and put it under your sacrum. Your sacrum is that flat part at the top of your butt cheeks, but not at your low back. So you're going to put it right at the base of your low back on that flat spot. That's your sacrum. And so now we're going to take our legs up in the air. We're going to work the ankles while we do this, because remember in the past we've talked about our ankle mobility is key to keeping our hips happy. So here I want you to gently point your feet. And I say point your feet. Don't necessarily think about your toes pointing. I want you to think about your heels going towards the back of your legs. Now, open your legs out as wide as you can. Now, I want you to think about the tops of your feet coming towards your shins. So guide it with the tops of your feet, not necessarily your toes. You're pushing your heels to the ceiling. And you're going to squeeze your legs back together. So now that you've got that point and flex, we'll do it a little faster. Go ahead and point the foot, open it out wide, squeeze or flex the feet, and squeeze your legs back together like you've got a beach ball between your legs. Point, open it out wide, flex your feet. Squeeze your legs back together. Squeeze, squeeze. Point. Open out wide. Flex your feet. Get those ankles going. Squeeze it back together. Point. Open out wide. Flex your feet. Squeeze your legs together. 1 more. Point. Open out wide. Flex your feet and squeeze your legs together. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So go ahead and let's reposition ourselves. We're going to use this yoga block between our feet. We're going back to the glutes. So I want you just to place it at the end of your mat. We're going to grab it with your feet. So let me show you. Go ahead and watch me real quick. We're going to go face down. You're just going to line your feet up next to the yoga block. Make sure you can see me. I don't know if you'll be able to see all of me. I'm placing my forehead on my hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze this yoga block and we're going to lift our legs up off the floor. All right. Now it makes it a little harder. Your lift will not be as high, but we're working the glutes and we're working the inside of the legs. So you will be face down. Hands, forehead on your hands. Squeezing that yoga block together with nice straight legs. I want you to keep your legs straight, no bending at the knees. And you're gonna lift your legs up, lift your thighs up. Think of lifting your thighs up off the mat and hold that squeeze. You're squeezing right back here, guys, in those glutes, and lower it down. So go ahead and squeeze your glutes together, squeeze your legs together, and lift, 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 and hold. Hold, hold, hold. Feel that all through the hips and the back of the glutes. And lower it down. Now, if you feel this as a strain to your low back, don't go as high, just lift a little bit off the floor. Go ahead and squeeze again and lift, lift, lift. As you're lifting, think of reaching your feet away from your body. Your legs are nice and straight. They're strong, 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 and lower it down. Let's do that 2 more times. Go ahead and squeeze your glutes, lift your hips up, lift, lift, lift. And lower. Relax it for a minute so you can get that nice squeeze once you start again. And last one, squeeze it and lift it. Reach those legs long, reach them long, reach them long. And take it down. So go ahead and release that yoga block. I want you to do this without the yoga block so you feel the difference. Go ahead and lift your legs up off the ground. And lower. They get a little higher, don't they? It's a little easier. So by creating that resistance with the yoga block, you're actually engaging your glutes a little bit more. So let's go back up to a seated position. All right. If you are by a wall, you can go ahead and back up to it, but you don't need to be by a wall. I'm just going to do it from here, just to show you in case you're not by a wall. We're going to do a little bit of work for our quad, and then we'll be done. So what you can do, well, I'll go back to the wall. I'm right here. Ultimately, it's good to do this at a wall because it's straight. I want your spine to be nice and straight and tall when you're doing these. I don't want you to be slouched over or leaning back. So you're going to bend one knee. I've got my right knee bent. I'm going to flex my left foot. So I'm pushing my heel away from my body. I'm up against the wall, nice and tall in my spine, and I'm going to lift my heel up off the floor and down and lift and down. And you should feel this engage right here in your quad, okay? So go ahead and lift and lower and lift and lower. Now, if you're right up against the wall and you cannot get your leg to lift, scoot your leg out a little because it's going to make it, or your hips out a little, it's going to make it easier. You're flexing your foot, you're sitting up nice and tall, and you're lifting. So go in here. And you should feel this big quadricep muscle in the front engage and turn on. Go ahead and switch legs. And the cool thing about this one, if you have any knee issues, you're not bending and extending the knee, but you're strengthening your quad. So it's no work for the knee, but you're still getting that good strength in your quadricep. So once again, you got to make sure that you're pushing your heel away from your body, and then you're lifting that heel up off the floor. Lift. I like to do like 3 sets of these and go back and forth each set and do 10 to 15 on each side. So this is a great leg strengthener without jeopardizing your knees. It's called Muncie's. I don't know why, but that's what they are. So let's go back into our triangle pose one more time, just to stretch it out. We'll do 1 on each side. Go ahead and lift up to the ceiling. Feel that nice stretch with strength because we're still squeezing this glute. That glutes are friend today. And let's switch to the other side. And up. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. And down. Okay, I want to show you guys something real quick. I know Tina's got a client, but I have this little altar in my room. I guess it's an altar in my room. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? And it's got this little little bowl with an angel in it. It's got my gratitude box. It's got my little troll that I found in the alley. But anyway, in that little bowl, I have these sayings that I have saved from my yogi tea. And I got a bowl full of these sayings that Yogi Tea puts on their bowl and on their tea. And this one is for today. May this day bring you peace, tranquility, and harmony. So that's my wish for you today.
Thank you, Chris.
You
Thank
are
you so much,
welcome.
Chris.
Let's
You're
take our
welcome.
photo really quick. Photo in 3, 2. Great job, everybody. See you soon.
All right, bye-bye. Renee, you want to talk on
I'll
another channel?
I'll call you.
Okay.
I'm getting out.